So week one has now come to a close. In fact, as I'm recording this, I'm about halfway through. In fact, no, I'm probably actually near the end of week two of my training. But the important thing is that week one got done, and that was the bit I was most focused on at the end of the last video. Last video I was talking at the end of pretty much the first day of training, and there was a great deal of happiness in getting to the end of the first week, because the training that I'm doing falls into different weeks, and you've got a different load of training to do each week. So when I ended the first week, it felt like the first tick had been done. Out of the 16 weeks or so in the plan, it was just nice to know that one of them was out of the way and done. The big test at the end of the week was the park run that happened on the Saturday. So while I'm training, or even while I'm not training, frankly, one of the things I like to do is go to the park runs. There's one that happens very close by to here at Heaton Park. Now, I've done this park run quite a few times. I did it quite a few times while training for the Chester Marathon, and I even did it once or twice after that. So I was really actually looking forward to, at the start of a new year, joining to Heaton Park again to do another park run. It was all a bit more stressful than I wanted it to be because I was late out of the house. I very nearly missed it. I arrived with about, I think, a minute to spare before the race started. For those who don't know, a park run is a 5K, so it's 3 miles. So it's certainly not the longest distance I've ever done. It's actually quite a short distance as far as I'm used to, kind of thing. So I just managed to get there in time. I joined the queue and I ran my first park run of the year. That was the first park run done of the new year, and the first one on the training route to London Marathon. It was really cold today. It's icy out. There's a lot of frost around. There's a lot of ice around the course. It definitely wasn't my fastest time. I saw my watch at the end. I think it was just over 23 minutes. I know that's not my fastest time at all. So I got really egotistical. I really tried to set off as fast as I could. And I tried to keep pace with some of the faster runners to the best of my ability. But certainly as I hit a hill, it's just back there, a hill, I really felt my legs going. They're still aching, to be fair, from the cycling and all the running I've done this week. I've not had a day off yet from the running, so I still feel the aching, but I gave it everything I had today, and it certainly wasn't my best. But the beautiful thing about the park run is that everybody here is willing each other on. There's cheering from the finish line, there's cheering all around the course. Runners are egging each other on to keep going, keep pushing, and it's a wonderful sign that at the start of the new year, there was loads of people here today, absolutely loads of people, more than I've ever seen at a park run. I've really enjoyed being out, even if it isn't my best time. But hopefully, as the weeks progress, I'll see that time just getting better and better. If not, I'm doing something seriously wrong. So I mentioned that it wasn't my best park run, and it definitely wasn't. I definitely felt slower, despite the fact I was putting in all the effort I had at my disposal. I didn't realize quite how slow I was until they released the results of the park run later that day. So I went on the website to see where I placed, and I placed 97th. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world, especially when on that particular day, they had 954 runners. So 97 is not too bad out of all that, you might think, and you're quite right, I don't think 97 is too bad. But when you consider that my official time of 23 minutes and 3 seconds, I click on my profile and I quickly found out when looking at this afterwards that my slowest time was the one I just run at that park run. That run was the slowest I've ever done. Bearing in mind, I'd done a park run at the start of training for Chester. I'd done park runs throughout Chester. I'd even done park runs after Chester. And this was my slowest time. This was my worst performance by far. And looking at all my different times and how far I'd come, it was really quite sad to see. I've run that course in 21 minutes and 12 seconds before. So I was a good time slower than my best. So I didn't realize how unfit I'd got, and I didn't realize how bad shape I was running wise until I did the park run. So it was nice getting to the end of the first week, but it was also quite sobering to realize how much distance I've got to cover just to get back to where I was. So although that was my slowest time, one of the things I have noticed is that I never seem to take a good picture while running. So they have photographers at these park runs every single week, and I've done a good number of them now, and I don't think I've ever had them take a picture of me that I've liked.
I'm not sure what I'm expecting. I think in my mind I'm expecting some Mo Farah-like body or some muscular physique, and seeing me in my prime as I run with great speed, and they just capture it, almost like I'm a blur. And yet, the reality is very different of the pictures they get.
'Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around.
I think that's one of my second aims, really. Not only to train for the London Marathon, but I'm hoping to get, one good photo out of my running. But now that the first week has come to an end, the biggest challenge I've faced really hasn't been the running, it's not been anything like that. It's just, starting the habit. That by far has been the hardest part of all of this. For a start, it's making a massive change in your diet. So I've gone from eating whatever I want, whenever I want, and snacking quite regularly, drinking full-fat Coke, having sugars in my coffee, to a far more structured and restrictive diet. And that means for this past week, I felt my body telling me I want a snack, I want to eat more, I'm not full, and that's been horrible. In fact, I also found for the first few days that I had a headache, and I'm guessing that by and large came from cutting off the amount of sugar I had quite quickly. Instead of easing off it, I just stopped drinking Coke, I stopped having sugar in my coffees. I've basically gone down to 1 cup of coffee a day with milk in, and everything else is just juice and water. That's the only other thing I'm really drinking. As well as that, it is the start of the year, so we're in some of the coldest months of the year, and I have found it really difficult mentally to encourage myself to get changed to go out for a run when I can see frost and ice, or when I'm already cold in the house and knowing I've got to then go out for a run in freezing cold temperature. What's also a challenge is recognizing that this is something you're doing on your own. You're pushing yourself. You're trying to create this discipline so that you get better. You're doing this for yourself and you're competing against yourself. But that also means you have to watch everyone else around you carry on living a normal lifestyle.
Hello. Hello. Thank you. Go away, stop recording.
What's that? What's that?
None of your business.
What is it?
None of your beeswax.
Oh, it looks like something.
None of your beeswax.
I want to know what it is. You order something?
No.
You order a takeaway while I'm on a diet?
Shut up.
You ordered... Ah! Stop, Bill! Don't! Free press!
'Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't.
So then looking at doing week 2, I've had a pretty basic go of it so far. So Monday, I didn't have a rest day. I actually went and did some hill running, so I did a couple of laps of my local hill. And then Tuesday, I did a 40-minute steady run. Wednesday, I did a 50-minute steady run. Tonight, I'm not running, but Friday, I'll basically do the run that I'm meant to do tonight. So I'm recording this on Thursday of week 2. And then Saturday, I've got an interval run, and Sunday, my long run will be 1 hour and 15 minutes, which isn't too bad. So that's what I've got going on in week 2. And what I'm adding into that at this point is a new idea I've had to help me get better at running up hills, is I'm starting to run in the mornings with a weighted running vest. So each morning, if I'm not going on the bike and want to do something else, I'm putting on that weighted vest. At the moment, it's got about 5 kilograms in it, and I'm just running up hills and doing normal runs to try and get my muscles stronger in my legs. But what you can see from this plan is that each week the training is going to become longer, it's going to become more intense, and hopefully what that means is I'll start to see the benefits. My park run times will hopefully go down, I'll adjust to my diet far better, we'll see the weight coming off, and I'll have stronger muscles in my legs, and I'll be able to even add weight to my weighted running vest, as it'll be something I'm more used to. And hopefully what we see from that is greater stamina, greater speed, and I'll be back to where I was when I was doing things like the Chester Marathon. But I'm nearly at the end of week 2. I am feeling better. I'm feeling more confident. I can already see my pace increase. I'm very interested to do the park run this Saturday to see if I can beat that time. I'm pretty confident I can, but we'll have to find out in the next video maybe if I did do a better time. If not, I might not mention it. I might just, pretend I never ran it. But if I did do better in this park run on Saturday, I will make sure it's in the video I do next time. I'm also doing these videos in the hope to encourage people to sponsor me for the London Marathon. I'm hoping to raise around £2,000 for the Samaritans Purse charity, and in particular wanting to raise money for their international crisis response part of their charity. What that means is what they do is when there's a natural disaster, when there's conflict and various other things going on around the world, they will send out resources, they'll send out people to help, and they will give all that to the area. So if there's a natural disaster and they send equipment out and things in hospital beds, they will often leave those things there to help with people. They're very active at the moment in Ukraine, helping with the orphans, helping with a lot of people struggling and providing help. And they do all of this unapologetically in the name of Jesus. And it's a wonderful thing to support. So I'm really desperate to raise £2,000 to help the ministry they're doing, the work they're doing to help people affected by natural disasters, by conflict, for those in Ukraine who are suffering. I think it's a wonderful thing to give money to. So if you've watched this and you have enjoyed the video, or if you want to see me progress in this journey towards the marathon, or just want to do something nice today, then I will leave a link to my funding page, my sponsor page, whatever you call it, in the description below this video. Please do click on it and consider giving money to the Samaritans purse. All of it is very much appreciated and helpful, so please do that.